It's over. Jimmy. Jimmy.
Are we live? Are we live?
We're live. We're
We're
live.
live, but we're really not live. We're dead.
We're live. The
We're
Celtics
dead.
are not.
Wow, that's a white flag.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tough news.
It is.
Tough news today.
I mean, we've had a lot of moments this entire season that sucked. This is probably top 3.
Top three? What's 1 and 2?
Nope.
Did somebody die that I missed this season?
Player.
Jimmy, I'm being very conservative with that. I think I was waiting for you to come back. Well, what about this? What about that? This feels like
one.
This feels
this is
like the worst thing
one.
that could possibly happen this season.
This is 1A star, underline it. This is the worst.
Well, I mean,
bad.
Tatum
This is
getting
so
COVID
bad.
wasn't great. Fournier getting COVID wasn't great. But this is like, boom, slam the door.
This
There's
is
no
so
coming
bad.
back here.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Because he went down against the Blazers with the ankle injury. Was working through that. Brad was giving him a few chances to come back in the previous 2 games. And now, done for the year. Strange.
Done for the year. This goes beyond this year. This really throws a wrench into other things too, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, this is the nail in the coffin, right? I mean, Bobby, I think we were texting a couple days ago. You're like, this team's not built, and everyone knows this, obviously. But this team's. I think you said this team's like one season-ending injury away from not even being a playoff team. And if this happened a month ago, the Celtics aren't. They're not even we're not even talking about a play-in game. They're not good enough to sustain an injury like this for a long period of time. Not many teams are. That's not really a no. I mean, we criticize the Ainge for this roster, but find me a team in the NBA that can lose its second best player and do anything for the rest of the season. There really isn't.
Nuggets are trying, yeah. But this roster in particular, and people keep saying this, like, oh, if any team lost their starter, they'd be in a bad spot. But this one in particular, when the bench guys come up and try to contribute in that starting line against opposing starters, they have an even tougher time fitting in, as we've seen all year. So luckily, Fournier is playing good. He's going to be the starter alongside Smart going forward into this postseason run. But the depth gets that much more stress. And then you talk about Rob's injury. That's 2 starters down. So it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, not only are you talking about one of your top players, you're talking about the one guy that in this absolute train wreck of a season, you feel good about him.
The MVP.
You feel good about the season that he's had. He gave you a reason to feel optimistic about this team, that even though there was like a really itsy tiny flicker of hope that they could maybe make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, he was the main reason why you had that little bit of hope. And now it's gone. The season is done. He's done. The Celtics, done.
Yep. And
We're
they'll
going
go
to
the whole
see
season without help.
analyst.
Shut up. I'll just shut up.
Hey, you got a 10-day contract left in your max?
I got nothing, big fella. I got nothing at all. I heard the news with Jaylen going down, and it was stunning. And I think you guys are saying now, I think only one team I could think in the NBA right now could possibly do that, and that would be maybe Brooklyn. You could lose Kyrie, or you could lose Harden, but if you had Durant and either one of those guys, you'd have a possibility of winning. But with the Celtics having Jaylen Brown out of the lineup, being your number 2 scorer, and sometimes being your best player, especially, and I think more so on the defensive end, losing him puts a huge hole in what you want to do.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the Celtics, obviously, and how this is going to impact them. But I mean, a big part of me feels for Jaylen, having his season end like this. I mean, he's been that one guy more nights than frankly, I think anyone else in this team. He has played and competed at a high level, and for his season to end like this, come on.
Sherrod, if I had to name an MVP of the team this year, it would have been
Jaylen
Jaylen Brown. Yeah. Most improved on the roster. The guy who was driving them more nights than not. And honestly, like I said, a huge force of stability when
Okay,
Tatum was
but-
down.
But guys, what's my take? Okay, we've been doing this long enough for you guys to know. Blessing. This is a blessing for the Celtics. Okay,
Blessing?
and I'll tell you
A
why.
blessing
No, it's
losing
not.
your second
And I'll
best
tell you
player?
why. And I'll
Please
tell you
tell
why.
us why.
And I'll tell you why.
Wow.
Let me tell you why. And then you can
John
yell at
gets
me.
so silly
Let me
with
tell you why.
things.
And then
Definition
you
of
can
the
yell at
word
me.
blessing now.
Let me tell you why, and then you can yell at me. Okay? This
I know what you're gonna
season
say.
was going nowhere. This season could have ended with a 4-game sweep to a clearly superior team and talk of Brad's head rolling. Who are you going to trade? Blah, blah, blah. This is a great built-in excuse for whatever happens now. What were you going to do without Jaylen anyway? Done. Ball game. Wrap it up. See you next year. All of the little teeny excuses along the way, they were real. COVID, injuries, they had the worst luck of any team this year. All of that stuff is real. They still should have probably played better than they've been playing. Built-in excuse for what was inevitably going to happen, which was a really embarrassing exit in the playoffs, just less so now. So this saves them some criticism. This saves them a lot of criticism that they would have gotten in the offseason. Because
But-
now what are you going to do? No Jaylen. Easy.
Can I use one word here?
Please don't say idiot.
No. Brilliant. That's what I'm saying. Brilliant. Because that's true. If there was, it would have been like that game that they were down to OKC and they rallied back and almost won that game. I was hoping they lost that game because I didn't want them to come. They had played so poorly. You don't need to be like, well, we came back and we won that game and we gutted it out and da da da. Didn't want to hear that. Same thing with this season. If you have Jaylen out, now everything that you wanted to talk about before with this team and the depth and two stars you have, you can't do that. So there is a built-in excuse, and that is a legitimate. I hadn't thought about it, but that's a legitimate.
How did we think this was going to go with Jaylen?
Wait.
If this were a team with, if this like Gordon, put it this way, Gordon's injury last year hurt way more than Jaylen's this year. Gordon's injury derailed a potential championship team, or at least a team that should have gotten to the finals. That sucked. This is okay. Fine, they're out. They're dead. This team's dead men walking right now. So again,
but this impacts
that
next
kinda-
year too.
So hold on, before we
not
get into
really.
next year,
3 to 5 months.
before we get into that.
Last year it was August when this happened for Romeo. This is May. He'll be ready. Even on the long view of this injury, he's going to be ready in time for next year. He's not going to, it'll be close. But so you're not talking about
It's
Romeo.
going to be close. It's going to limit how much he can improve this offseason, what he can do. It's his non-shooting hand, which is
It's
good.
not
But
ideal.
at the same time, I don't think there's anything good about it. I don't think you can paint it
just
that
told
way.
you.
And again, if we're talking about this preventing possible needed changes or delaying those, I don't think that's a good thing at all.
If Kevin
How does-
Durant
down
can
the
sign a
road if you do
supermax
that?
deal with a
That's your
torn
thinking.
Achilles, if Durant can sign a supermax deal with a torn Achilles, Jaylen Brown can get traded in the offseason if that was in your plans with a wrist injury. We're not talking about something that's going to limit him for his life going forward. It's a wrist injury. It's to his non-shooting hand.
It's
not
a significant one though. If it's that Romeo one, I mean, we kept waiting for Romeo. Like, where is he? Where is
That's
he?
not bad.
Well,
Yep.
Romeo went missing. That added on to his time off the team. But
Romeo and Jaylen, I think those are two different conversations when you think about it. But I just believe now that you look at this team, and I mean, it's just too many guys getting hurt. I mean, I am not sure. Rob Williams, is he going to stay hurt?
well, what's
I
the
mean,
point now?
I mean,
Might as well just sit.
that's the thing. He stays hurt, and you traded him. Danny essentially traded Daniel Tice, so the Time Lord could play minutes.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been available, and that's hurt this team too, because there are many nights I think that this team lost games that if Daniel Tice had been with them, they would have won those games because he was that solid when it came to defending, shooting, rebounding, setting picks. Whereas Rob Williams has been up and down. He does have talent, and he's probably going to break my field goal percentage record, which has been there for about 40-something years. But
Come on, man.
Really?
Keep it real.
But
He's not gonna qualify.
But still, just the fact that he hasn't been available, and that has hurt you. I don't know if it's bad luck, but what team hasn't had bad luck this year? When you think about injuries and all, what team? You give me a team. OKC, what they did, sending Horford home and said, we're gonna pay you $30 million, and we need you to go just come to the gym every 2 weeks and get on the exercise bike. Boy, America is a great freaking country. I tell you,
the highest paid practice player in NBA history.
This is why
but-
I need to say why I disagree with
Beautiful.
John's blessing take here. This injury, obviously, yes, it's an excuse. But the only thing that could have happened to the Celtics in the playoffs was that they could have proven me wrong. I already believed that they were toast, so I don't really need an additional excuse for them to lose in the playoffs or in the play-in. I already thought they were going to. The only thing they could have done was proven me wrong and proven, in my opinion, proven most fans wrong who probably didn't believe in them at this point anyways. So you know what? Maybe now that they are fully healthy and we can see what they do here, maybe we're okay with bringing back the whole band and see if they can put a healthy season together. Now you don't know. Now you're right. They're going to go quietly into the night, and you'll hope that Jaylen Brown makes a full recovery. I'm sure that he will. I don't know how it changes their offseason plans if they had any with him. And now you pretty much say, like you said, John, oh, well, that's a good excuse for, I guess, like the final, like years from now, we'll look back in that season like, oh, well, they lost Jaylen Brown. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, they didn't go far. Fine. But everyone knows what this team was made of through 68 games or wherever we are with Jaylen Brown on the team. They weren't good enough with Jaylen Brown. They were, a lot of people, and myself included, thought they were soft out there most nights. They were the less aggressive team. They didn't try hard enough. All those things are still true, whether or not Jaylen Brown gets hurt or doesn't get hurt. So I don't really know what changes. And when you're talking about next season, now you're going into next season, I guess with the same roster, but with the same questions. So what changes? It's an excuse for what? That they don't go to Eastern Conference Finals. They weren't going to go anyways.
The loser stank could be a lot worse on them if they got wiped with the full lineup and Jaylen and Jason and Rob and Fournier, and they got wiped by Brooklyn or Philly in round one or whoever they played. That would have been.
Now if they get wiped, that's going to be the first excuse. Sure.
But here's the thing, though. Even if they had all those guys, this team's not very good as a team. That doesn't talk about them as individuals. That's talk about them as a team. They were not a very good team. And when you take Jaylen out of the equation, they're still not a very good team. So I don't see what this does to change how this team is viewed, because they're not going to go very far with or without Jaylen. And without him, now you've got a sort of, kind of, but not really plausible excuse for not being very good, even though we got 68 games worth of receipts that tell me you weren't good. But
exactly.
you're going to use, but Jaylen not being around, all of a sudden that's going to change the narrative? No, it only confirms what we all have been saying for most of the season. This team is not very good. And that's not a slight on any player. And because, again, the team, them as a group, are not very good. And you got to change something up next season if you want a different outcome than what you got this year.
I think it's hard to draw that strong of a conclusion because how many different pieces were out all year long. Again, 34 plus starting lineups. Key players going in and out.
Figure it out. That's why you're the coach. That's why you're the GM. You figure out how to change things on the fly. And they haven't. Instead of figuring out on the fly, they just crash on the takeoff. They don't even take off. Where you go?
Sherrod, Max just crashed.
We've upset Max.
Max is gone.
We can hear him. We just
Max,
30th anniversary.
There he is.
Max, did you fall down?
No, I'm back. I can hear you.
We need to get Marigold Medical on the horn.
Yeah, get him over there.
Max is falling and can't get up.
Falling. Max, somebody get over there.
Max is good. That's my guy.
Max, can we rotate that?
Oh, don't, John, don't. Let's.
He can do it.
All right.
Max, is there an injury excuse? Have you ever seen a year of injuries, health scares like this year with a team?
Wow. Championship year with Kevin Garnett out. That was an excuse where that team would have won two championships in a row.
No question.
That was a great excuse. I think what we can focus on is let's just focus on some of the pieces that they have. What is positive about this team? You have Brown, you have Tatum, you have Marcus. Now you look at two of your rookies that played this year, they had pretty good years. So you're looking at maybe 5-6 players that you think you would want to bring back. Is that for you? Is he a guy you're going to bring back? He's going to be a free agent. Will he come back? Are you going to sign him the long
Bobby wants
money?
Bobby wants to give him the max.
Yeah,
100%.
whatever he wants, blank check.
Blank check for Fournier.
Now he's not going to get the max, but I think you got to give him a
No
strong
shit.
offer to entice him to stay.
Uh,
He fits great with this team. I mean, come on, Max. 7 of 11 from 3 in 2 different games. Consistent 20 points, a passer, a ball handler. Yeah, I've said it over and over again. He's almost like a Gordon Hayward light with this team. Now, he hasn't gotten to play with them a ton so far, but I think we've seen enough to think that he can fit in.
I think you guys are setting Gordon Hayward back because the thing that Gordon Hayward was really good, he was more of a facilitator, and he was a much better defender, and he was a bigger presence in the post. One thing we've seen continuously, even in a guy we didn't name, is Kimba. Kimba was repeatedly,
Max underwater.
They looked to yesterday to attack Kimba. They kept going at Kimba over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think that you look at so many different pieces that you just go, okay.
Well, as far off season's we're gonna have probably way too much off season talk very, very, very soon.
A week from now we'll be talking off season.
How about the rest of this season? What do you do? Do you shut down? I mean, Rob isn't a do more damage. Well, you never know. But do you shut down Rob at this point and say, forget it? Do you?
No.
I don't know who else you're worried about at this point. Probably no one.
No, you don't shut him down because you let him get as many minutes and make as many mistakes as he wants to.
No, just because of the injury.
And I guess what I hear you guys saying is that I shouldn't go out and spend my playoff bonus, any place this year. I shouldn't be like, well, I'm going to get a big ticket item. I don't think that's going to work any place. So I think that I wouldn't shut down anybody. I think you just let some of these guys play. I think that what you do is you let Pritchard play and you let Naismith play much more just to see what you have. And if you want to shut somebody else down, or Tatum, or whoever it is, you can shut them down because, as you guys are saying, the season right now, if you don't have Jaylen, this season essentially is probably going to go no place and no place fast. But
so, are you writing it off? The rest of the season, Max?
Am I what?
Are you writing it off the rest of the season?
I don't see how you can win. I just don't see how you can. I don't see how you can win with not having your second best player and sometimes your first best player, and this team has already been shorthanded. How do you win? And what matchup do you? All right, how about this? Suppose you played Miami in the first round. Would you think you think you're going any place? I mean,
I can't even get to thinking about like Miami. I can't even think of. I'm not even sure they can get past Charlotte in the playing game.
Charlotte.
That's gonna be.
How about if you say Charlotte? How about
Bobby? You writing a book report over there?
No, it's on me.
Listen, the answer is no. They can't win. I don't even care who the opponent is. The Celtics are extremely top heavy to begin with. The whole problem with them is their depth and their lack of depth, and their no bench guys, and they have no deep rotation that they can go to. Brad Stevens has been searching all season long for that 7th and 8th, man, a guy that he can slide into the starting lineup when need be, which has been often. And really nobody has stepped up, aside from maybe Naismith the last 10 days. You haven't really had a player outside of the starting lineup step up. So how the hell are they going to find one in the last 4 games of the season and into the playoffs if you even get that far? The answer is they're not. My question for Max is this, and we talked about this last show. We said the Celtics don't have enough assholes, and we mean it in a good way. They don't have enough guys that are willing to get in your face, play hard, play 48 minutes, play both sides of the ball. We said Jaylen Brown was probably the one who had the capabilities of doing that the most, and Marcus Smart's another guy.
I mean, nobody's going into the stands on this team to go at a fan who's stepping out of line.
Well, no, but Max, do you
nobody's
feel like
going to do that, Max?
Do you feel like that's something that the Celtics should be targeting, that type of a player going into next season? They need some toughness, or you just say, you know what, bring the band back together and fill in the final roster spots any way you can.
I'm like you. They need some assholes. And without those assholes, I think they're not going any place fast. I hope you guys can hear me. I didn't freeze up. But,
no, you're good.
No, we're good.
I think that when you look at this team, as I said before, and somebody sent me a video of this. Show me one Jason Tatum and Brown. Jason Tatum and Brown have probably played maybe over 300 games in the NBA. You name me one time that they've gone up and somebody's fouled them hard and they've got up and said, if you do that shit again, I'm gonna knock your damn head off. There's not one time. Somebody showed me, said, oh, it was Jaylen and Jay Crowder. No, he got up. Jay Crowder, he knocked Jay Crowder down kind of by mistake. And then Jay Crowder got up in his face and Jaylen kind of just put his hands up and just bowed away. That's why I thought it for them. I thought that and everybody will laugh at me about this, but I thought they should have went out and got Jared Solinger because he's a SOB.
Don't
and
laugh,
on
John.
top of that, he would have been hungry. You would have got him cheap, and we know that he will. Tell you this, guys. If I'm playing against another team, and I knock a guy down, I foul him, and he's going to go to the free throw line. I'd be damn if I'm going to be the guy picking him up. I could guarantee you that I'm not picking him up. And this is
isn't your guy Crash trying his best? I don't know if it's intentional, but
the only guy I see that we have that's on this team that's a mean SOB is Marcus Smart, and we don't have enough of those.
Right. And I think that's something that they need to go out and get like this offseason. It's not all about just about mental makeup and what goes on in the locker room, and they need some of that leadership out on the court, maybe off the court too. Get these guys' minds in the right state or in the wrong state, whatever way you want to put it. But they got to be angrier out there.
Guys,
not pouting. I see more pouting than anything.
I have enjoyed it with you, but today I had a colonoscopy, so I am a little tired and sleepy.
Oh,
so,
Max.
hey, gentlemen,
wow.
I'm going into overtime here, so thank you very much for having me on. I wanted to get my 2 cents in, and I think you guys are doing a brilliant job.
Max, above and beyond. He played. This guy plays hurt.
This is why he's the MVP.
Game.
30 years ago on Friday was when Max get on my back.
Yeah.
40.
Look at this.
Congrats.
1981.
This guy who shows up.
Happens.
Okay, we need this kind of fight, Max, on the team.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need more guys who will show up to the game after a colonoscopy. Thanks, Max. Good luck with the results.
All right, gentlemen.
Wow. That's a gamer right there.
That's a gamer.
That is an absolute gamer right there.
No wonder he always looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Max.
Over there.
Look what you did. Look what the Celtics did. They made Max come on. They made Max go through all that. Unbelievable.
That's a trooper for you, man.
Yeah, he is. He said some right things though. He said some right things. He agreed with me first of all. So,
which is all that matters.
Yeah.
It might be a mental toughness. It might be a mental toughness issue with this team to some degree because again, we see how they handle adversity at times this year. I don't think the physical toughness thing matters all that much. Like, have they been punked physically this year? Have guys been getting knocked down and them not responding? I don't see a ton of that. I just think
always physicality.
Yeah, but what I do see is a lot of guys getting into the chest and moving your supposedly physical guys like Tristan, and that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I mean, the ease at which guys who aren't bigs are getting into. I mean, Jimmy Butler is lowering the shoulder, and you're seeing him bang Tristan a good 3, 4, 5 feet away for getting a layup. Should not happen. This team, for the most part, I think, are too comfortable with their talent and don't think enough about toughness. And we're not talking just physical. We're talking about, there's a mental toughness aspect of this team that's missing. They don't play strong between the ears. The talent is there. The mental toughness, not so much.
Yeah, that's a youth thing to some degree. And again, I'd like to see this team get a little bit older along the edges. Some veterans on the bench. Some guys that have done. And Tristan was the right idea, right? That was what they were trying to
The right idea, but the wrong player.
Yeah, it didn't work. Didn't fit.
Because Danny, I mean, that was to me the big miscalculation on Danny was the veterans that he brought in to help just couldn't get it done. And when you start looking at teams that are poised to make good playoff runs, they have veterans who are perfectly suited for those grimy, tooth and nail end of the wire type games. I mean, Trevor Ariza is a great example of that.
Yep.
Yeah. You need guys like that.
The Bucks got Tucker. The Nets got Jordan. The 76ers have a guy like Danny Green. All these teams that are ready to go for it, they got those guys. I mean, even
Exactly.
Look at some of the mid-tier teams like, New York's got Nerlens
Derrick
Noel,
Rose.
who's been around for a little bit at this point. Derrick Rose, better example, yeah. Atlanta, they got a guy like
They had Rondo. They got rid of him though.
They had Rondo. They gave
They
up
got
on that one, so they're a
Gallinari,
little
who's
young.
been around forever and a
Okay,
day.
you
He
know
just doesn't
that,
stay
like,
healthy.
Other teams, like last year, when they would question their teams being soft, would look over to the Celtics and be like, they've got Marcus Smart. It's
Smart's not one of those guys, though. He's young, too. He's 24, 25, 26.
keep going.
Smart
Bobby.
is not
Keep
even
going.
close to 24. Yeah, I think he's.
I mean, he's
27,
still
right?
he's not a Gallinari. He's not a Jordan. He's not like a veteran, and he's definitely not an Ariza. He's
been in
part of the
league
core of this
7
team.
He's been in
It was
the
like
league
26,
7 years,
27, something like
and
that.
he's 27 years old.
You're right.
I mean,
not
he's
those
a
players,
guy
but
for
yeah,
sure,
right.
but he's a
27.
starter.
But that's exactly the point. He's the Celtics version of that,
24,
and that's
25, 26.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Not good.
27. Keep going.
He got
27,
old.
man. He's
By
been
the
in
end
the
of this
7
broadcast,
years.
Marcus Smart's going to be 39 years old.
He got old fast. That's a different discussion, but
Yeah. So
again, I don't see him as that guy. I think that's an addition to Smart. There's got to be someone beyond Smart that can do that off the bench. Again, it wasn't going to be Parker. And then you look at all the other guys, Grant, Neesmith, Pritchard. The whole bench is young. The whole bench is inexperienced.
Youngest average age in the league, right?
Yep.
For the Celtics?
the bench is young, and
Overall,
half of
their whole
them
team.
might not be in the league.
The
in a couple
Thunder
years.
got them, but they're down there.
The Thunder
I
are the
think-
youngest team and openly tanking.
Yeah,
Right.
except for the Celtics game.
Oh, they were tanking that game too.
Yeah.
They absolutely.
They tried,
The Celtics didn't get the memo.
but they didn't
So
get
the
across
Celtics. Do you think the
finish line.
Celtics knew this about Brown yesterday? Like the team.
No, but this is what makes no sense to me. I mean, didn't Stevens gave him a chance to play in the series? So what changed? Did yesterday just signal the team, "Oh, this isn't it. We're done."
Yeah, so he's probably been playing hurt.
We don't know when this happened. Correct.
Right. That's the thing that hasn't been is clear. Like, when did this happen? Because if you look at the
So-
replay of that, the him and Tatum and Powell colliding there,
Didn't
that
happen there.
left wrist doesn't take a hard fall. He braces
There's a play
himself with
against
the right
OKC
wrist.
where he fell. There's a play, and we have it. I can play it. There's a play where
Yeah,
he fell.
cue it up.
And
Good
so
catch
this
by
is-
Ahmed here. I remembered this, but I
This
didn't.
is where we
of it.
think, and I remember it because he's under the basket and he kind of felt like this. So this is
Okay.
what we think it
I
might
kinda
be
remember that
here.
too.
All right, hold on, little wonky, but I have it queued up here.
Oh,
There we go.
oh boy.
Playing, not
Is
playing,
it-
frozen.
Is it frozen for everybody else?
We'll try to get it back, but it was on this play. Bobby might have it queued up too. He can give it a shot.
You can-
but he
you can
fell and he
imagine.
holds it. Still.
Just imagine what that looks like, and that's what happened.
Bobby, if you have it, you can play it.
Yeah, let's give it a shot here.
I'm a little. I might have to shut down a few things here.
Look at me.
But that was how long ago,
Oh,
Bobby?
this is on your end. Oh well, we'll just describe it. He basically went to the
Give us a
basket,
play-by-play.
fell, and went to the basket, fell, and caught his fall with his wrist, and probably tore a ligament when he was doing that against the Thunder. So that was a few days before that Blazers game where he ultimately went down and got knocked out. So he played that Blazers game hurt, probably.
Yeah.
But again, they were giving him chance even after that to come back. It was an ankle that he was out with after that.
Right.
So again, this is.
But that's the thing
this
is, was he playing hurt, and could he have continued to play hurt, and they decided F it, or was it so bad it had to be taken care of right now? That's what I'm not sure of.
Like,
Well,
what was the
if you
trigger
c-
that made them decide to take a deeper dive and look at this thing and see if there's something more than just soreness?
Right. That's what I don't
triggered
get.
that?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that it became a pain threshold type of thing, and Jaylen's like, something doesn't feel right about this. Let's take a look. That's the only thing that I can think of, because when you go back and you listen to what Brad has been saying, since that Portland game, it doesn't add up that there was some concern about the wrist because that was never mentioned at all, which I think leads. Go ahead.
It was either that or they looked at the timeline, like John just mentioned. Yeah. It's probably going to line right up with training camp next season. So the earlier you can get it done, if you don't want to delay it another 2-3 weeks, then that's an important. Yeah, it's an important thing to save some time there if you don't think you're going to compete in the playoffs. So, again, this coming off one of the worst losses of the season against Miami, basically taking yourself out of that first-round bye situation, it makes a lot of sense that this is when they announced it and this is when they decided to go forward with it. Again, I asked Romeo, could you have gotten it done earlier? And he almost had some regret that he didn't get it done earlier because it took away some of this season. And ultimately he got it done when they were going into the playoffs. He had played in the bubble regular season, if you remember, but when he was going to lose that playing time going into the playoffs, that's when he finally ended up getting it done there. So similar situation here, I think. Again, it's the same injury, same timeline, probably similar timeline, and you just hope that you can get him back and he'll be ready to go at the start of next regular season, which I think is probably the smart way to go. If they did all the possible ways that they could have treated this and surgery had to be done at some point, it's the right decision.
Yeah. I'm going to just put in the chat the actual video that we're talking about that we didn't show. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like that's when it did happen because he's holding that wrist pretty damn. Yeah. Because Dort got him pretty good on the backdoor cut when he made a cut to the basket and got fouled from behind.
Yeah.
Let's do it this way. Put my big screen up.
No, we're not going to do that. But no, we're not.
Look, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes,
that is
perfect.
Actually perfect. Okay.
Guys,
thanks,
look how
Jimmy.
much pain he's in.
There he is. Look at Jaylen hurt. Actually perfect.
Hurting his left.
Jimmy.
Holding his left. Hold on, we're going to get a replay here. Here we go.
Perfect. I mean, better than John's.
There you go. See that?
Bobby, yours didn't work either, buddy.
Technology, baby.
Anyway, so that's what we got. And so he's out, and it does seem like a white flag on the season, which is interesting that it happened after that loss to Miami.
So we were asking,
again, it's still questionable for that game. So I mean, they're talking about possibly playing him. He's questionable for Sunday with the ankle.
This is probably what happened. He just didn't want to get the X-ray or the scan or whatever on it, and then finally probably was in so much pain they were like, you know what? Let's just go get the X-ray or whatever they did, and they found it. They probably didn't expect to find what they found, and they did. And they said, yeah, we should. Once they had the doctor's report, they're gonna say, yeah, we should operate on this immediately before it gets worse.
I think it came down to Jaylen. Yeah, I think Jaylen was just trying to fight through this thing, and the pain just got to the point where he said, we need to just take a look at this thing to see if there's something more, because it's been sore for a while now. And I think that might have been the thinking, that the fall that he had against OKC was a little sore. Just play through it. It'll go away. It wasn't going away. And now, obviously, after some tests, he needs to have surgery.
Yeah.
And it does suck. And I see John's point. This is their excuse. This is their reasoning. This is why they can say that they lost in 4 games if they even make it to the playoffs. All that's true, but it all goes back to what I'm saying.
Not only that, Jimmy, it could be the opposite. They could show such fight that they'll go out in a spirited manner. Like, let's say they draw a 7.
I think that's possible.
Like what
they
happened
play a
to
1 or a 2 seed, and they give a good fight. Everyone will be like, "Wow, I'm proud." All of a sudden, people will be proud of this team. They might even end up on an upswing if they outperform expectations now. Anyway,
I don't know if they have that. I don't know if they have that makeup.
They might not.
Team, but we did see something similar when Kyrie went down. We saw them sort of rally with him out. Who knows why that was? But
different because they hated his guts. And
every time I see them together, they're all buddy. So who the hell knows what was going on there?
Well, he's on a different team. It's nothing but love now.
Right,
we don't play together.
Exactly. They're all in the club.
A good team.
They're in the club. We've made all-star games now, you know?
Right. So anyways, I don't know if they have that in them, but to me, I'm going to remember the regular season and how painful it was with guys in and out of the lineup, admittedly. But we were all saying they look healthy. They look like they're going to actually be healthy going in this play-in or playoff. This was before the Rob thing. So of course something like
I
this
said
had
that
to
on
happen.
Saturday.
Yeah, something like this would have to happen in this season. It's just been one of those seasons. And I think like a month or so ago, we were literally like, is this just going to be one of those seasons where just like they'll never be fully healthy? And we were like, yeah, it's starting to feel that way, and this seals the deal. This was just one of
No,
those seasons.
That's why I was asking Max. Like I can't think of a season where you just never quite got the starting unit together the way this one has gone. And so people hate to hear that, but that's a legitimately devastating thing that happened during the course of regular season. Yes, what they should do from here, John, I think what's good is they do have that positioning in like the upper tier playing game pretty locked now. You're still going to have Tatum playing night in and out. You're still going to have Fournier playing. You probably put Rob on ice until the end of next week into that playing game. That gives him like a week and change to rest that toe. I don't know if it will fully heal in that time, but at least keep him off the court for these next 4 games. Kemba's going to miss 2 of those games since it's a pair of back-to-backs. So you are going to get some legitimate rest for some of these starters here, and losing 2 of these games or even 3 of these games probably doesn't hurt you all that much. They have the tiebreaker over the Hornets plus 2 games, as well as over Washington. So they're almost certainly going to be hosting this playing game. Cleveland's given up. They'll probably win that game, and that's probably all they'll need to retain that 7 seed. Now, where they go from there, who knows, but at least they'll have a fresh Kemba and something of a Rob going into the playoffs. I don't think you just you can't. Everyone's saying tank. Even if they lost all 4 games, you're dropping.
No,
like
they
one
can't.
spot.
But did we ever think we'd be at a point with 4 games left in the regular season where we'd be saying, "Hey, the good news is they probably can't play their way out of hosting the play-in game"? Like, I mean, how friggin' far this team has fallen right now. This is the good news is the 7 seed seems pretty solid. That's pretty bad.
Well, this is expectations just slowly get lower and lower and lower.
Well, but we're being real about it. That's why.
Yeah, it's reality.
we should. I mean, do you know how crappy we would sound if we're talking about? Well, you know what? They're built to go deep into the playoffs. They can knock off Brooklyn with the team they got. That's bullshit. I mean, that's absolute bullshit. So I mean, we're being realistic about where they are.
Even without Brown, they should win the play-in tournament. They should at least get that 8 seed. There's no reason they should lose twice to the first team. And, you know, it actually could be the Wizards coming into the Garden. I saw they were a game back of Charlotte, so that would be tough. But then you play, I don't know, Charlotte or Indiana at that point. You got to win one of those games.
I don't understand why that's your take. I don't understand.
You feel good about them playing Charlotte and Washington?
I don't understand how you – I didn't feel
don't
good.
Get it.
Those teams aren't that good.
I gave you a chance to not say this on the show today, Bob.
We gave you so many opportunities to not say this terrible take, and that was when they had Jaylen Brown.
Right.
What is it about this team? This one back, buddy.
What is it about this team that gives you all the confidence in the world that they're going to win a must-win game? What's one must-win game that they've won this year? I can't even think of one. They've
won what? 4 of 6 against those teams?
One of the worst games of the year was against the Wizards. That was like when the season turned for the worst, that Sunday afternoon. Who could forget that game?
Then they beat them in 2 other games.
Yeah, okay, but
the
Wizards are one of the hottest teams
aren't that good. Those aren't even playoff teams.
The Celtics aren't that good, and they don't have their second best player, and they have one starting center who's healthy, and his name is Tristan Thompson.
What gives you such confidence in the Hornets and Wizards?
It's not.
Well, the Hornets just got back some kid named LaMelo Ball, who's pretty good. So they're going to be a better team by the time they get to the play-in game.
The Celtics.
I don't know what Melo's going to look like in a must-win situation.
The Celtics, as constructed with Jaylen Brown out, are you saying that they're a playoff team?
Yes.
I disagree. All season long without
we'll
Jaylen
see.
Brown,
it's going to play out.
This team that's
so your prediction is that they're going to lose 2 games and bow out.
So they had Jaylen Brown all season, and they're like 3 games. They're like
no, if that's your prediction, go ahead, put it down on the table and say they're going to lose in the play-in game.
Bobby, we're not. We're saying
because we don't know who they're going to play.
Having confidence in their superior talent is a bit over the top and a little homery. Okay, It's not. They are not overwhelmingly more talented
not what
than
I'm
any of
doing
these
here.
teams.
I'm not saying they're going to go out and challenge the Nets or they're going to get above Miami.
You're
or the
not.
real
You're
teams
saying they're
above them.
clearly
I'm
better
saying
than
that
the
they're
other
going to.
teams, and they're not clearly better. They're not clearly better.
What makes them?
They
I'm
could
saying that they
easily
can
win
win
these
one.
games.
I'm saying that they can win one game with 2 chances
That's
against
the
teams that
best
are
thing
worse
going
than
for
them.
They got 2 cracks at it.
We're not saying that they can't win, but we're saying why are you so damn confident that
the
they
confidence
are
is
going?
Because these
baffling,
teams
right?
aren't good.
Neither are the Celtics.
Round and
They're
round we
better
go.
than these teams.
Round and round we go.
Listen, Jimmy, the Celtics have been banged up, struggling, coasting along all year, and they're still better than the Hornets. They're still better than the Wizards. They're still better than the Pacers. So what's that say about those teams?
Based on what? Based on a couple of games in the record? But Jaylen Brown's not on the team anymore. He's off.
He
He's
hasn't
not
been
playing.
here for numerous times all year. Rob has been out in certain games. Kemba's missed half the games.
He's played like 60-something games or 50-something games. Jaylen Brown's played almost 60 games this year.
But again, my point is the Celtics have
What do you mean
done
he
all
hasn't been
this that you've
around?
mentioned. They've missed all these players, and they're still better than these teams. They should absolutely get through this play-in
And the
tournament.
Hornets
Again, you're
missed
going to
players
play.
too. The Hornets missed Ball. The Hornets have missed Gordon Hayward. The Hornets have missed plenty of guys.
I'm just saying the Celtics are better than those teams. There still should be an expectation that they're going to win through
I
this
know.
play-in
It just.
tournament.
I just don't think the facts bear that out.
In a 7-game
Look at
series,
the records.
in a
We
one-game
are looking
series,
at the records.
in a one-game series, anything could happen in the NBA. The best
And
team
it's not
doesn't
even-
always win.
It's not
a
even just
7-game
overall
series-
records. They have taken care of business against these 3 teams all year.
They're 2-1
Did they
against
not
all
get
of these
smoked?
teams.
Did they not get smoked by the Hornets with a full lineup?
Yeah, and then they smoked the Hornets in 2 other games.
But okay, but you don't know which team's going to show up. So why are you so confident that the one that you love is
Because they
going
get
to show
2
up?
shots. They get 2
They get
shots
2
at
shots.
home in each game.
Home has meant nothing this season. Absolutely nothing. How many times has the home crowd booed their team off the court?
Fair enough. Again, I just think they're going to get through it. And if you guys don't, then predict that they're going to
We're
bow
not
out.
saying that.
You're
We are
allowed to
saying-
think whatever you want, but I just
We are
don't
saying
understand
it's a
why.
coin flip, and being overly confident in this team does not seem like the right stance.
I'm
to
not
take.
overly confident. I'm not saying they're going to challenge the Nets round 1. I'm saying they're going to beat the Hornets in Boston in a game.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, Bobby, I love you
They
to death,
could,
brother.
but like,
I love you to death, but I gotta leave you on an island on this one, man. Because the Celtics right now are not a very good team, and the teams that we're talking about that they are contending with are not very good teams. But those teams have clear things that are working in their favor. You look at the Hornets; they are starting to look more complete. They're not
Beal
going to have
just went
Gordon
down
Hayward.
for the Wizards.
And the Wizards are probably the hottest team in the NBA for the last
Right.
like 3 weeks.
And now Beal's gone. I mean,
Good point.
so
Like,
that's what you
I
need.
think they're
You
going to
need-
get through
You
here.
need a break. You need a break like that. Yeah, if you're gonna play a
The
winning
Pacers
team
have
without
nobody
Beal,
left.
then yeah.
No, the
you-
Pacers.
you sell.
No, we're not talking about the Pacers because that's a team that I agree with you, Bobby. Celtics should have no problem beating them in a 1-game series. That team is dead on arrival. But
Yeah.
Washington, I worry about. I worry more about Charlotte because Charlotte, I think, is a team that could beat them.
Yeah.
No, I have
Washington,
concerns
I
about
think,
them
needs
And a
too.
healthy Washington could. If Beal's
Right.
out, obviously that's bad.
That's
they're
bad,
saying
right.
they're saying 2 games. We'll see. Hamstrings are tricky. Whatever happens, happens. Healthy Washington, healthy Charlotte, that's a dead coin flip. And if you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. Like, sure, the Celtics could win, but to think that the Celtics
That's what a
are
coin flip is.
walking into that building with superior talent, given the current state of their roster over those teams, is crazy.
And and Bobby, here's the thing that to me is why it's more of a coin flip than ever. Because even when the Celtics have had stretches of play and passes where they weren't playing great, there was always a concern of the opponent that, you know what, we're still going to be in a dogfight. Even if they're not playing their best, they're still going to make this hard for us to beat. We're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. We're going to have to beat them. That is not the mood now. Teams know they can walk into the Garden and play a pretty average game and probably go up by double digits because that's what 2 out of every 3 teams they play do, go up by double digits and get a win. And if you're talking a 1-game situation, if I'm Washington, I'm coming in here popping my collars thinking that we got this. If I'm Charlotte, I'm feeling very good about beating this team. And the Celtics, from a confidence standpoint, I think we all agree right now that confidence is probably a little shaken when you don't have Jaylen. You're not playing good basketball. You don't know who the hell is going to be in your top 8 from one game. Forget one game, from one quarter to the next. There are lots of concerns that the Celtics have right now, which makes me concerned about what they can do in a play-in situation.
I agree with you on Charlotte, but I go back to the thing that you have 2 shots here. If you lose the first one, you get a second chance with even more urgency against a worse team. And fortunately, the schedule lines up in a way that I do think Charlotte might drop below the Wizards. So you get the Wizards in the first crack there, and then so on second chance, you could even get the Pacers here. When I've seen the Pacers and Wizards play last week in that series, the Pacers were right there for them step to step, despite their deficiencies. So again, I think the Celtics are in a class above these teams, where these teams are just going to kind of beat each other out, and then the Celtics are going to move on by default. Again, it's not a ringing endorsement of Boston. It's just I don't believe all that much in the competition here, and I get it. You've seen this team time in and time out.
These teams are in the play-in game for a reason, Bobby. All of them, including the Celtics, because they do not inspire that much confidence. The Celtics are
because they're unreliable.
The Celtics are one of these unreliable teams with issues. They're one of them. They're there. They are exactly who their record says they are. That's
fair enough. I just still think they're better than these teams. And you know what? If I'm wrong, if they come out and pull that Miami game in the 1-game play-in game, there'll be a big apology cam here. But I can't see that little urgency for the 1-game play-in game. I just can't, especially when they're tightening the rotation at that point.
You think Jason Tatum wants to play in the first? I mean, how bad do you think these guys want to have their season?
I'm sure they don't want to lose that way.
We talked about this last game that they might start checking out when they realize, like, we don't have it this year, boys. I
don't think they want to go out like that.
I don't think they want to go out like that, but but here's the thing. It's not so much how they want to finish the season, but do they want to extend the season? How badly do they want to do that? Because that, to me, is where I'm not really sure where this team stands. I don't think they go into games wanting to lose, but I do question how badly do they want to win. And there is a difference between them.
There's a big difference.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that if it was
lose.
No player wants to lose, right? No player wants to lose. No player is purposely tanking or anything like that.
Right, I don't buy that.
It comes down to the will to win, and let's be honest, the talent is an issue too sometimes. I mean, we've heard it a million times. The Celtics are a top-heavy team, and they just lost their 1A or 2, number 2 player. They don't have, I understand Fournier
They still have Kemba. They still
Bobby's
have Tatum,
godsend,
Fournier.
But they don't have enough
solid front court.
But they don't have enough to overcome it.
Tatum's got 30 million reasons to ball out down the stretch.
Tatum's just going to get double teamed to high heavens.
Tatum's going to go for 73 times.
Again, it's not going to be. You're not even, Lord willing, with Brad. You're not going to see Grant. You're not going to see Semi. It's going to be 46 minutes. It's going to be 44, 46 minutes of Tatum. It's going to be 44 minutes of Kemba. It's going to be 44 minutes of Fournier, and that's your tight rotation.
No, it's not. No,
in a 1-game play-in?
No,
those guys are going the distance.
1-game play-in. First of all,
I will give you high 30s for all those guys. I'll give you that.
In a play-in, yeah, they'll play 40 minutes. I thought you meant the rest of the season, every game.
Oh, no. But no, that's something that gives me even more confidence in them.
We got Neesmith starting finally, or what? Is he going to start?
No, because they're going to play the lineup they've been playing with Fournier.
Yeah.
And
no, but he should be that rotation wing. That doesn't change.
Neesmith should be getting 30 minutes now.
Yes, he should. And he should have last game, but he played 19.
Yeah, we did mention that.
Neesmith is the new Rob.
If they go into the play-in
he's
game,
really, really good. Got to keep him to about 17, 18 minutes.
If they go into the play-in game, if they go into the play-in...
You know that meme with the guy, he's like walking with his girlfriend, he's looking back at the other girl? That's like Rob, and then he's
that's us and Rob.
Yeah, that's
Rob back there.
Neesmith, we're looking back at Neesmith now.
Rob's like, what?
If they go into the play-in game, mixing and matching lineups, trying Neesmith, trying Grant, trying Parker.
Trying to win. I applaud it.
I'll join the fire, Brad camp. If that's the way they approach a play-in game, that's just not it. You cannot do that in a playing game.
What are
Search
the
for
chances?
answers.
What do you
What are
know
the
about
chances
playing
of the
games? There's literally never been any.
I just know it's like a game 7. You gotta go in and win.
Exactly.
You
It's a
can't
game
be
seven.
like, oh, let's see how Cornette looks in the third quarter. Let's see how Parker's doing in the second.
Wow,
You
you
know
used
that
to Cornette
Neesmith's
like
the
that?
best of all those players. Yeah, because I think it's gonna tighten up at center too at that point. You know what you have at this point. There's nothing else you can figure out. There's no time left for experimentation. So you have to go based on what we've seen to this point, and Neesmith has earned that backup role. And he's got to be the one who gets the most leeway there.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't. Knowing what we know now about Brown, I don't know how Neesmith didn't get 30 minutes yesterday. Just start preparing for that.
No, we don't
situation.
understand anything that happened yesterday with the rotation.
Literally nothing. I'm so glad I sat yesterday out. I might have died.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I saw Edwards walking to the scorer's table, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, "Is that real?"
Your team is struggling to defend,
Bob had
and so
binoculars
you
up.
put in Carson Edwards.
I had to put my glasses on. I was like, "Is that number 4?"
But you know what, though? But here's the thing. It reinforces the notion that this team thinks that they can shoot their way out of any and every jam. That if we just score more points, we're going to find a way to win, as opposed to
Jimmy knows the answer. The answer is Taco.
That's it. Listen,
Taco
it's going to
was,
come down to
inactive yesterday.
the last man standing on this team. And you know who's been healthy? Taco Fall. So
There's a reason why he's been healthy, Jimmy. And you know, and I know why.
conserving him for the playoff run.
Hey, and
wrong answer.
And you know what? What I just said, I actually don't believe is going to happen. Again, Friday.
Wait, which
tacos,
one?
The mixing and matching
which part of what you just said that you don't believe? Because there's a lot of material to work with, Bobby.
The mixing and matching of the lineups. Because you mentioned Taco Friday night, central to the game plan. Sunday inactive in the peak code. I just don't get it.
We're going to
build something here.
Well, how's the chat looking? I haven't been able to keep up. Is it pretty sullen and
it's
down?
resigned.
Everyone's really positive about
everyone's feeling good about their chances here.
About how it's going to go in the play-in game and beyond. We have a future here. So we've got another one tomorrow. We went almost an hour here, so we're going to wrap it. And get back with you guys
sleep
tomorrow.
This one off.
Yeah, we got to sleep it off. We'll let everybody know we're not doing it tonight, but we are, as always, sponsored by Locker Room, and so we will continue doing this after every game. We will continue doing it, whether or not the Celtics are playing basketball this year. We're going to keep doing these shows, through the NBA playoffs a few times a week. We'll continue jumping onto Locker Room and doing chats with you, and we'll do all of that business. So make sure you hang with us. Subscribe if you haven't to our YouTube channels, and we will do a lot of action there as well. Bobby, still bullish. Maybe we get a run in us. Maybe there's a round in here. Maybe the sixth seed's not out of reach. Maybe something happens, okay?
No, they're not getting the 6th seed. But
Bobby, can you decide? Are you optimistic or pessimistic? Which one? Pick one.
Again, this is why I was pushing back on. I'm not saying they're going anywhere. I'm saying they're going to win the play-in game. I'm going to say they win the play-in tournament. I don't even know. They might lose the first one and win the second one. That's all I'm saying.
Will they
I don't think they're going to lose.
Can we hang a banner? Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Will they raise a banner for the play-in tournament champ?
As for the
we don't raise banners for that in Boston.
Like
we don't raise banners for that.
AFC conference title participant.
We didn't get too much into the tank
Atlantic
conversation,
Division
John.
Champs.
Into the which one?
The tank conversation. They're at 16 now.
You can't
They're
tank.
at 16. Yeah, they really can't.
It's too late.
You got a 3% chance of moving up in the lottery at 14. It's almost pointless. Like
the best they can do is 13, I think. That's probably the highest they can go.
And honestly, I believe lottery odds for 13 is I believe you can fall back to 14. So you're either 93 and 2. You got a 5% chance from the 13 slot of moving into the top 4.
Yeah.
You got a 2% chance, 2.5% chance from 14. So it's if you were to have thought about tanking, and they never were. But if the season went to total shit and they shut people down and stuff like that, you could have maybe fallen to the 10 range or so.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going to do anything for you either. So at this point, what's the difference between the 14 pick and the 16 pick? Nothing. You know?
The basketball gods would not allow that to happen for the Celtics.
Tanking is a season-long commitment. You don't just decide with 4 games left in the season, like, hey, can we still tank? Like, no.
No, it would have to be natural. It would have to be a collective given here. But they're not going to put Kemba on ice. They're not going to tell Tatum to sit down. They're not doing that. So if they're going to fall to that 13 spot and lose in the play-in tournament, it's going to be a internal tank. It's going to be a team's decision that we're packing it in here.
Yeah, I mean, they feel like they've been slowly making that decision throughout the course of the season. So,
this week, what are you expecting from this week? The Heat tomorrow, Cavs Wednesday, Wolves Saturday, Knicks Sunday. Could you see them losing all 4 games?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll win at least 2 of them. But would you really be shocked if they lost all 4 games? I mean, really shocked. Disappointed?
I wouldn't be shocked.
Not shocked.
Nothing shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked, but
right.
if they lost all 4, I'd be like, what just happened? I'd be a little surprised. Especially the Cavs. The Cavs are on like a thunder streak right now.
I think at this point, I've said I'm just like, I don't really feel much one way or the other. I'm at the point now where I'm beyond like angry when they lose, or you know what I mean? Like you're just kind of at the point where you just don't feel one way or the other because you're kind of giving up.
That's not a good place to be, Bob. That's not a good place to be, Jimmy.
I know. No. Well, it's what they've done.
Jimmy's packing it in. He's about to start tanking.
Jimmy's tanking. Jimmy's already talking about taking the weekend off.
Yeah.
That's highly in the works.
Look at that.
Highly in the works.
Tanking.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
No, players don't tank. Ainge isn't going to do it. Brad Stevens isn't going to do this. Those guys have stuff on the line, too. Don't forget.
You think we'll hear from Ainge?
About 5 minutes into tomorrow's game, you're gonna have a good idea whether this team has any friggin' guts left to put in a fight for the rest of the season. They either come out and friggin' tear ass, not just to make up for the last debacle against Miami, but to show that there's a little solidarity there and that they're not dead yet, or they're gonna come out and like, let's just shoot some threes, and if they go in, great, and if not, we're toast. Pack it in, and I'm not doing any more shows. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
That's it.
We'll still do shows
until the
what the hell are you talking? No,
yeah.
I mean, the whole concept of like statement games that you hear from time to time. I usually think that's like bullshit. But this next game, it's going to say a lot about where this team's at.
Show
really
something,
especially for Smart.
Yeah. Just show something, right?
Smart's going to come out.
You got punked, and now. Everybody is here doing what we're doing and saying dead and buried. Should they tank and get the 13 seed? You know, blah, blah, blah. You got any guts right now? Yes, we're saying things about you. And like, we didn't think much of you before. And right now, everybody thinks you're dead. Go prove people wrong. Do they have that in them? I don't know. We'll see.
Right. And it's not even
about to show up and fight. I don't know.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, are you willing to show up and fight? You don't have to necessarily beat the Miami Heat. It'd be nice if you did, but don't lay down or worse, wait until the second half of the third quarter to show up after you've spotted them a 26, 27 point lead. Don't do that bullshit. If you're going to fight from the jump.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance to win.
Nothing
fight
worse
for your
than
right.
that, by the way. How
party.
many games have they whittled down one of these big leads and they're like, oh, look. Garbage. The other team, as you said, Sherrod, they take their foot off the gas, and the Celtics feel good about themselves. And the game story reads a little bit differently because of that. But it was a garbage effort. Nothing. I don't care what the final score was. Sunday was garbage, and they just can't do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Jimmy, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was trying to read your shirt actually.
Hamilton.
Just like my country, young. Scrappy and hungry. Oh, you're a Hamilton. Oh.
Did you get
big Broadway
Hamilton
show
tickets?
guy, everybody.
What's that?
Did you get Hamilton tickets?
I've heard of them
twice. Yeah.
Oh, you've been twice.
Wow.
Seen it twice.
Is the play better than the book?
Way better.
It's pretty
that
amazing.
Was my shit freshman year. I was way into that.
It's pretty amazing.
I never got tickets.
I'll put it this way. I didn't consume any of it It had been out for a couple of years, had no idea, never listened to a single song, did not know what to expect, went in and literally, by the time I actually got to this song, My Shot, it's the third song, my jaw was on, I was sitting forward like this and my jaw was on the floor. I really was like, I couldn't.
It's incredible.
I couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, I was floored.
I'll catch a play here and there.
And I went in thinking, like, how good can it be? You know, like, and I was like,
right.
I was floored.
I think it's coming to Boston, actually.
It did. I mean, I saw
it. It was already here.
It's coming back, though. I mean, I saw that it's coming back.
Yeah.
Jimmy, when it comes back, we're going.
I'll check. Yeah. Me and a couple of buddies, sometimes we'll go to plays. We'll stick the playbills in our back pocket and we'll, hit the bar after and strike up, girls are like, oh, like, what play is that? We just came. Oh, yeah. This is like, we just came from a play. And like, Les Mis, for example, like anything like that. It's actually pretty good.
More dating strategy with Jimmy.
Little tip.
Yep. Little tip.
That's going to be part of our
down
off-season
theater district.
show lineup.
John, you know the theater district pretty well.
What does that mean?
Well, you're an Emerson guy.
I was going to say, what is
where you work?
No, he's an Emerson guy. That's all.
You know the.
I don't know why else he would know it, but
I know. Yeah, no, that's my hood. All right, so guys, like I said, we went an hour. This was a little extra show again, brought to you by Locker Room. We're gonna do Locker Room tomorrow after the game, and do the game. We'll see if they show up. Once again, Jaylen Brown out for the rest of the season. 3 to 5 month injury, wrist surgery. We'll see if the Celtics have anything left. Bobby is predicting at least a play-in game win. The rest of us are a little dubious, but we will see.
Bobby's predicting.
You guys aren't even putting a prediction out there. You're like, oh, maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Bobby, what's the point of predicting a coin flip? Like,
I'm not in the business of predictions. I'm not in that
my prediction is it's a 50-50. It's a pick 'em. Okay.
My prediction is
if you put a gun to my head, I'll pick one. But it's a toss up. It's really
my prediction is it won't be fun either way.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Jump the gun though. You don't want to start thinking play-in. You got to finish out the season here.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. We're done, guys.
All right. See ya.
Thanks again to Jimmy, Sherrod jumping in. Extra time here. Joe Sway, we'll give him a pass.
Yeah.
But we'll hear what he has to say. He'll be back with us tomorrow. Bobby Manning, of course. Check us out, CLNSmedia.com. Sherrod Blakely, Bleacher Report, Boston Sports Journal, Bobby Manning, Celtics blog, CLNS Media, BSJ. Subscribe to all of our podcasts, the A-List podcast. Sherrod, what do you got tomorrow?
We've got we're going to talk a little Neesmith with someone who's very familiar with him by the name of Jerry Stackhouse, his coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm excited about that. So we'll talk.
You see, his shoes came out, John.
Yeah.
He finally put
I
them
saw
out.
the link. The Air Neesmith is out. It's got the tan and green color scheme going on there.
Another New Balance is the unofficial shoe of the Garden Report post game show. So go get your Neesmiths right now. Aaron Neesmith was nice enough to do an interview with us last week. Following his little stretch. After that, Brad got mad at him and benched him for a couple of games.
Hey, he was still great yesterday.
And then
he was.
Now he's off the shit list and was great yesterday. So go get your Neesmiths. And awesome, Sherrod. I didn't know that. That's a great podcast. Make sure you guys look out for that tomorrow and subscribe to the A-List podcast with A. Sherrod Blakely. Bobby Manning's got Dome Theory, host of other pods on the network, as I'm sure you guys are well aware, having watched and listened to us all season long. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with us on this impromptu one-off here, live breaking news, Garden Report edition. Jaylen Brown out for the season. We've got a few games left. We'll see what happens. We're back tomorrow against Miami. Good night, all.
See ya.